We have heard a lot of opinions about 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, but most of them have been outside the building. And whenever we hear Brock Purdy talk about the opinions that matter to him, he talks about the voices inside the building. So, again, when we get an opportunity to hear from John Lynch as he joins KNBR to discuss Brock Purdy, amongst other different things, it's really cool to be able to get his perspective. And he actually says one thing that really stood out to me, and it's something that I've kind of been thinking of. So I'll explain that at the end, but at first I want you to listen to the way John Lynch talked about that crazy game against the Packers, the come from behind win, the game-winning drive, all of it, and how Brock Purdy performed. Take a listen to John Lynch giving his thoughts on Brock Purdy's performance against the Packers.
So let's ask about the quarterback. So, John, we ask you about Brock Purdy every week, and you've given us your many, many, many thoughts. But I'd love your thoughts after that. Adversity, wet ball, incompletions, a near pick, and yet the final drive. Completion, scramble, touchdown. What did that teach you, tell you? What did you learn in that from Purdy, about Purdy, I should say?
I think not learned, maybe confirmed, that things that we've talked about all year. He's, whatever you call that, his mettle, his resolve, his resiliency, his ability, all of it. He's a stud. And, that last drive, absent a drop from Kittle where, Kittle's just trying to make a play, he's 7 of 7. And so you talk about who embodies more, be at your best when your best is needed. And I mean, for the most part this season, Brock's been really playing at a high level throughout. And, when we needed him most, he was there in tough conditions against a good defense, all of that. And that's why we have so much belief in Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and first of all, John, I just want to say congratulations on making another NFC Championship game. And I wanted to go a little big picture here because we're now seeing Brock Purdy at 24 years old go to his second straight NFC Championship game. In your opinion, what's been the biggest difference between the Brock Purdy that walked into Philadelphia last year versus the Brock Purdy you're going to see this weekend in Santa Clara?
Just a little more experience. I think when you've had more experiences, good and bad, it kind of hardens you if you're made of the right stuff. And I think everybody should be pretty clear about my belief in that, our belief in that he is made of the right stuff. And so I think the more experiences you have, it just prepares you to be ready for any situation. And the competition gets tougher, as you approach this part of the season and you're playing against the best. And Brock he kind of is prepared and ready for every situation. And, I got to tell you, he threw me for a loop. I'd never seen him in a glove. When he went out there with a glove, what the hell is going on? He figured that out too. And that's just kind of what he does. And, that's the coolest thing to see the belief, because at this stage we understand there's going to be a lot of talk amongst pundits, the same people who were saying he's the MVP of the league prior to the Baltimore game now are, all that. But so that's all noise and people have jobs to do. But I think the noise we concern ourselves with is the noise and really the reality within our team. And that's what matters most. And I mean, it's not lip service. These guys have his back because they know he has theirs and they know he makes us better. And that's, belief is the word, but there's a ton of that and it's authentic, it's earned, and it's deserved.
First of all, I thought it was hilarious that John Lynch had no idea that Brock Purdy was going to come out with a glove. It was something that I noticed too, watching with inside the stadium, was like, Brock's wearing a glove? I've never seen him wear a glove. And again, he's played in a couple of rain games that didn't go his way, or you could see he was struggling a little bit. And I was like, oh, he's wearing a glove. And then I noticed he wasn't wearing a glove. And I was like, oh gosh, this rain's really, really messing with him. But again, his ability, his resiliency to be able to withstand that storm, literally and figuratively, to be able to play the way he did down the stretch. is absolutely phenomenal. I think also too, John Lynch said something about like being made of the right stuff and how Brock Purdy is made of the right stuff and how sometimes adversity can harden you. You can build upon it and you can learn and grow. But I thought a very important distinction that John Lynch pointed out was that if you are made of the right stuff, then those things can occur. And the reason why I think that's important to point out is because that was kind of the same thought process I personally had when Colin Kaepernick lost the Super Bowl. And again, this is a little bit of a tangent, but you know, when he lost the Super Bowl, the way that I tried to look at it is like, all right, well, he hasn't even started a full year. His career is just getting started. He'll be able to learn from that and grow from that. And it didn't feel like that had happened. Now, there's a lot of other things that happened with that situation, but I thought that's kind of how I was envisioning like Cap was going to be able to grow and build and take off from that point. Whereas I think, what John Lynch is saying is he's like, yeah, adversity, hardship, all those types of things can absolutely catapult you into a different type of stratosphere or mentality or thought process that leads to additional success if you are built the right way. And Brock Purdy is built the right way. And these are things that we talk about with Brock all the time. All the noise, all the hate, all this, all that, chip on the shoulder, Mr. Irrelevant. I believe Brock is a true competitor. I believe within his heart and in his soul, he is a true competitor. So when you are a true competitor, those things do impact you the way that John Lynch identified. And again, him saying that is how Brock is, that's how he's wired, that's who he is. And I do think this will actually benefit him in the long run. That's good. That's good to hear. Like those are the types of opinions. Like when we hear these things from people inside the building that have know him the best, like literally employ him, saying that you know if you're made of the right stuff, these things can help you. And Brock is made of the right stuff, and this is what we've been saying all along. And we're not surprised. And these types of things. That's why, like any type of hardship, whether it's the surgery, whether it's noise, whether being Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy finds a way to rise above it. So that was my takeaway from what John Lynch had to say. I think that he's just confirming like what I believed, like what we all kind of think that Brock is made and wired the right way, which is why he's finding the success that he's having as such a young player. So any issues that came from that game or whatever, I think are going to manifest as learning lessons that he can take into this NFC Championship game. Again, I talked about it on my live stream. The finality of it. John Lynch talked about on that radio spot where he is like a very optimistic person. He is always going to have the utmost belief in his team to come out on top. But even he thought at one point that the 49ers could absolutely lose that game, just like the entire fan base did, just like anyone watching at home, just like if you were in the stadium, you thought the 49ers were going to lose at one point. And it was just like a reality of the situation based on the game flow. And for them to go through that experience and experience that finality of that game, I think that could really galvanize this team moving forward. Already experiencing that, already having that pit in your stomach and having to have those thought processes of, man, am I going to book my trip to Cancun now? I think that could absolutely propel this team after a kind of an ugly game into a sharpened focus moving forward. So that's my hope. We'll find out. But let me know what you guys think about what John Lynch had to say about Brock Purdy and everything else in the comments below. I linked the podcast in the description. If you want to listen to the whole interview, go down there. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.